Season 2 of the Vancouver Blizzard draft-only franchise begins right now, and the talk of the town is just how well these two top 3 picks can perform, not only in their debut, but throughout their rookie season. That's the storyline we're going to be following closely here throughout Season 2. Before we hop into our opening night action at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves, though, we've got some things that we need to talk about heading into the season. For individual training, I currently have Mago here at all around. I considered putting it at playmaking as I do want him to be somebody who can beat people off the dribble and hit his open teammates. He did a decent job of that in the summer league. I think he can be even better down the road. Ultimately, I think as a face of the franchise, he has the potential to be a guy who's really good at everything. He's already at least solid at everything. So I'm going to do all around for now. But if you have suggestions as to what could be better, I'm not married to this idea. Same for Cameron McKnight. I think I kind of want to lean into his strength, just have him be pretty much a Klay Thompson type, just an off-ball elite shooting threat while also being a super disruptive defender. But I could see us needing to work on his playmaking as well, let him become a little bit more of an on-ball threat. He didn't actually do terrible in a couple of off-the-dribble opportunities in the summer league. That's what I have for these guys right now. And reminder for some of our other young guys from last year, they remained unchanged. Still want Jalen Duren to work a little bit more on his defense and Josh Green to become a good two-way 3-and-D kind of player. Same with Max Christie. A lot of these guys that were not projected to have major roles, I just want them to be two-way players. Leonard Williams, I want him to become a better shooter. And Cameron McKnight isn't one of those players that doesn't project to have a big role, but even still, I think being that elite two-way player is probably what I want from him the most. But again, if you have different ideas for these two, let me hear them, and I'm not going to 100% commit to changing it, but if you present a good argument, I could certainly be swayed, is all I'm going to say. But training isn't the only way to develop our young guys. We also have ourselves the mentorship opportunities. There weren't a lot of good power forwards in terms of mentors for this season. So we're going to actually have JaVale McGee be the mentor for Saramago. Hopefully we have a better mentor ahead of next season. Just not good options this off season. I'm going to try to help him with his rebounding, his interior scoring, and his screen setting. I think if he could be a really good screen setter, it could open up his teammates a lot more. Paint Patroller was also one I considered. Aerial Wizard could be one as well. Rise Up, of course, but he already has it at bronze, so I think I'm good there. That is our mentor for Saramago. And now for Cameron McKnight, we have Seth Curry. Unfortunately, only 2 badges, can't get all 3 here, but really good badges, of course, for a shooter. And so we're going to go with Seth Curry mentoring Cameron Greenlight McKnight. And then lastly for Duren, I actually wanted JaVale McGee to be the mentor for Jalen Duren when I signed him in the offseason, but Torrey Craig had some unfortunate bad regression that made him not really be a good fit to mentor Saramago, and I'm just more invested in making sure we get good mentorship for Saramago. Not sure how much these are going to help, especially set shot specialists, but maybe off-ball pass can be good for Jalen Duren. Not as much regression here as you're seeing with the other guys, but it's better than nothing, so that's what we're going to go with in this case. As for the rotation we'll have for the upcoming season, here's what we've got. One of the things I wanted for this season was to make sure that one of McKnight or Saramago was on the court at all times, and that's what we have accomplished here. They won't play much together, unfortunately, this way. Just the first 4 minutes of each half, as well as the last 8 minutes of the game. But we'll always have one of our stud rookies on the court at all times. And those two will be getting 32 minutes a game. The other 3 starters will be getting 28. our main guy off the bench will be Max Christie, who, as I kind of stated last episode, did impress me a bit in the Summer League, so I wanted to get him some solid run over a KJ Martin Jr. We'll be getting our least amount of minutes per game, but here's the lineup we're rocking with to start the season. Of course, always subject to change depending on what we're seeing in the games that we are watching. As for system proficiency, we are 3.5 in 7 seconds. There's not really anything else that's better, especially, of course, we're looking for things that are good for Saramago, and 7 seconds is about as good as it gets for Saramago. McKnight, I'm a little surprised isn't a fit for this. I guess they want more ball handling, but in terms of a guy that's just going to run up the court and take quick shots from 3, I think he fits that pretty well. But yeah, patience, it's kind of doesn't really get better than 7 seconds. Neither of these guys are perfect fits. Lonzo Ball is a perfect fit for the 7 seconds system, which is nice to see, but hopefully these guys can get much higher system proficiency as they develop, which I imagine will be the case. The Minnesota Timberwolves, I think, are a pretty tough matchup for our squad, particularly our rookies. Karl Anthony Towns is, I think, one of the few power forwards in the league, or at least somebody who plays power forward, that Saramago will have a tough time taking down in the post. And then Anthony Edwards is, of course, a handful for Cameron McKnight in this game. I'm excited to see how they can handle such tough challenges in their NBA debuts, and Edwards does not take long to get going there in this game, and Gobert starts off with a block. Dillingham, catch and shoot 3 is off the mark, and a nice rebound there. Lonzo and Duren helping each other out. Now Lonzo on the other end, a nice hop step layup puts Vancouver on the board for the first time this season. Mago, pull-up jumper from the mid-range over the top of Rob Dillingham. This is a very good defensive Minnesota team, but if there's one guy we need to pick on defensively, it has to be Rob Dillingham. McKnight in transition, probably would have preferred him to just pull up from 3, but there's his first NBA basket not too long into this ball game. McDaniels, tough turnaround shot, and he puts it down for 2. Duren taking a top of the key 3. Not sure what that's all about. Would love to not see that again, ever. Good contest from McKnight, but Anthony Edwards is a tough shot maker, and Minnesota leaves 7-6. And Vancouver takes their first timeouts. On the cut, Anthony Edwards gets a nice pass and puts 2 more on the board. A good start to the game for Ant. Josh Green puts his first points from beyond the arc with a nice screen to get him open. Gonna go right back to the same play here, hoping for the same results, and we get it. Josh Green, back-to-back triples. Makes it 13-9 in favor of Vancouver. McDaniels left too much space from 3, and he makes it a 1-point game. Cat gets Saramago off his feet with a nice pump fake and draws his second foul already, 5.5 minutes into this game. Now, one thing about these custom rotations that I make, they don't allow people to get subbed out early for foul trouble, and that's something I talked about a little bit in the last episode, that Saramago might have some trouble with fouling here. Need him to stay off the foul list for the rest of this quarter at the very least. Lonzo, a good look there, but it's off the mark. Anthony Edwards going by Max Christie now, recently checked into the game. Easy blow by there for a basket. Ant once more, and he is on fire here in the first quarter, as Minnesota leading 21-15. Lonzo, another good look from deep, but he just hasn't been able to find the mark. Anthony Edwards again. Another clean look, but this one, finally a miss. He's been really hurting us on the defensive end so far today, but we finally force a miss, but Mago on the other end misses his own triple. Cat, one of the best big men shooters in the league, but that triple is no good. Shot clock winding down. Mago, pull-up jumper from the mid-range, falls. Showing a nice touch from the mid-range so far in the first quarter. Edwards on the drive. Nice defense there to force the miss. Mago with it again. Shot clock winding down. Tough three-pointer, and he drilled it. Been more of a jump shooter today, and I think that is a function here of the matchup. Cat is not an easy guy to get an advantage of down low. Cat trying to score on Mago, though, and does here make it 25-20. Isaiah Joe with the ball, defended by Victor Oladipo. Trying to drive on him, not able to get much space. Kicks out to Ayrton Saramago, who can't drill the last second jumper with the shot clock winding down. Pull up for Ants. Little strong. Under a minute left here in the first. Isaiah Joe's triple is off the mark. Anthony Edwards, he's had some heavy shot volume here in the first, but you can't blame the Timberwolves for going to him so repeatedly when he has been so efficient. No good on the mid-range jumper from our rookie Ayrton Saramago, so Anthony Edwards drills the jumper with 10 seconds remaining. Down to 2-1, and Saramago gets the basket as the first quarter buzzer sounds. That one will count 30-22 after one. Heavily reliant on Saramago for that first quarter production. We'll have to see what we can do with him out here for most of the second. It'll be Cameron McKnight's chance to shine as he got the three-pointer to fall to start the quarter. Isaiah Joe gets it stolen by Ant. Swings it to Oladipo in the corner. Wide open shot is good. Isaiah Joe not looking super comfortable playing that pure point guard role, of course. Played the two guard for us last year. That seems to be his more natural role. Zeke Naji with some nice help defense. Leads to a Cameron McKnight 3, his second already here of the second quarter. He's matched up on Anthony Edwards. On fire in the first. He's done a pretty good job defending him so far to start the second, and great defense again there, but Ant is just a little too strong. Cameron McKnight, another triple is down the barrel, and it's Anthony Edwards versus Cameron McKnight pretty much here in the second quarter, and Zeke Naji with another block. Showing some nice interior defense for us so far. In this second quarter, Isaiah Joe can't hit the three. Would have made it a one-point game instead. Anthony Edwards trying to drive on McKnight, but he is not making it an easy task. Great defense from Cameron, and he'll force the miss. Definitely showing better defense on Anthony Edwards here in the second quarter so far. And up top goes Minnesota, but it's off the mark. Step back jumper for McKnight is just off. Hit the rim a couple of times before deciding not to fall. In transition, Minnesota going inside and getting the baskets. 6-point lead for Minnesota, about 4.5 minutes into this quarter. Lonzo Ball struggled a bit in the first. Hopefully he can get going more in the second. These Minnesota point guards are really the only weak parts of their defense. Haven't been able to take too much advantage of it so far. Anthony Edwards pulls up from three, put a little too much on it. Leonard Miller. Excited to see him get some extended action this year with how efficient he was in his very limited role last year. There he gets an assist to Lonzo Ball. McKnight, another good look from three, but pulled it a bit right. Nice feed by Naz Reid. Rob Dillingham wide open top of the key and drills the three. We've got Anthony Edwards dribbling all through the traffic and finding himself an easy mid-range jump shot, extending the Minnesota lead to 7. Naz Reid trying to make it double digits, and he does with that smooth jumper. Lonzo Ball, tough shot on the inside, trying to use the size advantage over Rob Dillingham, but can't get that tough leaning layup to drop. Has it now here in transition, trying to find Josh Green inside. Solid look at the basket, but he just couldn't get the layup to go down. And in transition, Minnesota ends up with an Anthony Edwards layup. Got to make sure we take advantage of those shots on the interior from Josh Green. Lonzo Ball, another jumper from the mid-range. A miss by McGowan, but it's scooped up by Rudy Gobert and flushed back, and Minnesota leads by a dozen. Lonzo Ball, this time from beyond the arc, has had a much better jump shot here in the second and adds to his total here. Assist goes to Mago, recently checked back in after being out for most of the second. Another Karl Anthony Towns pump fakes, gets a Vancouver Blizzard defender in the air. Clean look from deep from Ayrton Saramago. Off the mark, and Robert Dillingham finds himself a trip to the line. Down to a minute left here in the half. Lonzo continues his strong second quarter here with another jump shot from mid-range. Saramago able to fight through some screens there and gets the ball in transition. An easy basket inside. What a find from Josh Green to get it through those Minnesota defenders. McDaniels off the catch. Extends this lead back to double digits. Final 10 seconds of the half. Saramago drills the three. That'll be a 7-point game as we head into the break. There was a lot going on here in the first half. Lonzo Ball went from not having a great first quarter to leading the team going into the half. Mago and Greenlight McKnight both have double digits in the half as well. Haven't seen much from Jalen Duren, just 1 point, and Isaiah Joe has yet to make a basket. 23 points at the half on 19 shots for Anthony Edwards, but he is the only one in double digits for the Minnesota Timberwolves. No one else has taken more than 4 field goals. He's taken 19. Lonzo saw that Jalen Duren had no field goals prior to the half and made sure to remedy that as soon as this half started. And Ayrton Saramago drills another three. He's been living and dying by the three. A little bit more than I would expect here in his debut. But again, I do think that is at least in part due to the matchup here with Karl Anthony Towns, who he does not have a size advantage against, whereas for most matchups, he will at that 4 spot. Cat drills the three in Mago's face. Lonzo from mid-range, trying to build on that strong second quarter, but that one rattles out. Cat has Josh Green in the post. Saramago comes to help, but it frees up Gobert for the basket. Mago to Ball. That's a contested three, and it's pulled right. Cat in the post again. This time got a mismatch against McKnight and gets the and one out of it. Hits the free throw to make it a 10-point game. Lonzo. Nice looking jumper from the mid-range off the Ayrton Saramago screen. McDaniels drills that three off the dribble in response. Greenlight McKnight trying to feed it inside to Jalen Duren, but it's picked off by Anthony Edwards. Pulls up and drills the short mid-range jumper in transition. Mago now going inside through a bunch of Minnesota Timberwolves jerseys. And that's where I think he's at his strongest, right there on the interior. That being said, he's had a strong game with his jumpers regardless. Lonzo again pulls up off the Saramago screen, this time to no avail. Tipped away and stolen by Mago. Taking advantage of Cat trying to drive right by him. Anthony Edwards done a much better job defensively on him, I feel like, so far in the half. Lonzo, another jumper falls. 10-point game as Edwards tries to drive in on McKnight. Gets him off his feet with the pump fake. We've been falling for these pump fakes quite a bit here in this first game. That feed to Duren went off the rim and somehow fell right back into his hands. A wild play, but it ends in a Duren bucket. Edwards drives right by McKnight there. That was impressive. McKnight, I feel like, has been playing really good defense for the most part, but you're not going to win every time, every rep against a player the caliber of Anthony Edwards, who finds Jaden McDaniels inside for that basket. 14 points. Timberwolf lead here. Our offense just has not been able to keep pace. We're still living and dying by a lot of jumpers, and it's not like these players taking them are bad, but they're just not quite good enough to be super high volume shooters. But Saramago drills another three. Up to 22 points in his NBA debut. He's been impressive, taking a fall away jumper here, and it falls. That is a difficult shot. Saramago making it look easy. Here he's matched up against Cat in the post, one of the best post scorers in the game. He's shutting him down. The shot is blocked by Mago. What a play. Now in transition, pulls up from the mid-range and drills it. Ayrton Saramago, the Brazilian beast. I gotta see that one again. His plays like this that have to have Blizzards fans excited for the future here in Vancouver. One of the best post players in basketball. Shuts him down, blocks him, gets his own rebound, and goes coast to coast for the mid-range finish. Been very reliable here in the mid-range today. Good defense to shut down that interior shot. Goes again on the interior against Cat and misses, but the follow-through with the foul will get him an opportunity to get an extra point, which he would indeed do. Najee trying to go for the steal. Instead, it's a Naz Reid's flush. Isaiah Joe, still no points today. He's missed all of his shots, and he'll add to his missed total there. McKnight, with the third quarter coming to a close, shows a little bit maybe of his weakness there. Doesn't really have a ball handling bag. Couldn't gain any separation on that play, so no last second basket for us this time around. An 8-point deficit heading into the fourth, and you can't start the fourth like that. It'll be a 4-point play from Minnesota. Leonard Miller, haven't seen much from him today. That was his first shot attempt, and it was a very difficult one at that. Green light, McKnight gets that 3-point shooting back on track here to start the fourth. Anthony Edwards, too strong on that one, and a nice rebound by Max Christie. There. McKnight, another clean look, but this one's too strong. And shutting down the drive from Victor Oladipo, he gets himself a block. They give him the ball in transition, can't hit the mid-range jump shot. Najee almost with a nice follow-up, but his was also too strong. 88-77 here, a few minutes into the fourth. McKnight puts us at 80. Drilling yet another three. He has been high volume, but very reliable from deep for us in this game. Oladipo sends the lead back out to 11, this time from the mid-range. Maybe trying to draw a foul, but it's not there for McKnight. Gowans inside to Reed. Blocked by Najee, but Reed able to get the ball back. I've been really impressed with all these blocks from Zeke Najee. Standing just 6'9" for a center. But he is getting a lot of disruption on the interior defensively. Color me impressed. Hasn't been anything for us on offense, but I like what I'm seeing defensively. McKnight, quick trigger, and drills it. He knows he has the green light. He has not been shy about taking threes tonight. And that's exactly what I want to see from the rookie. Missed by Lonzo, but Jalen Duren finally gets Minnesota to fall for a pump fake. Gets a shot inside. Matched up against Dillingham here. Smartly finds the extra man from the double, and that's beautiful basketball. Right there, unselfish. It's a 7-point game halfway through the fourth. Anthony Edwards has not been quite the same player here in the second half. The defense on him has been much improved. Cameron McKnight's here. A big reason why, but can't hit the triple there. Good contest on Ant on the other end, though. In transition. Vancouver will get the foul. A nice drive by Ayrton Saramago. Anthony Edwards, another long ball is off the mark for him. He's been settling a lot for those triples here, and I think we've got to be very content with that. He's been much more dangerous on the interior and the mid-range when he chooses to take it. That was an 8-0, or excuse me, a 9-0 Vancouver run, ended by that Karl Anthony Towns triple. Tough bucket there from Duren, driving through a lot of Minnesota defenders. On the interior, Mago against Cat, and he gets the foul called. Karl Anthony Towns not happy with that one. 6-point game. This is not over yet. Vancouver's been battling nicely, especially after falling down 15 points earlier in the fourth quarter. Step back jumper from McKnight, and he drills it. With that being said, 3 minutes left, 2-possession game. We're going to watch the rest of this game play out, see exactly what this team can do. Tough fall-away jumper from Anthony Edwards. We're going to take that shot whenever he'll give it to us. Green, defended by Cat. Unable to really take him off the dribble, so it goes to Lonzo Ball. Hand off to McKnight, trying to find Saramago. Matchup against Jaden McDaniels. Solid post matchup there for us, but the fadeaway bank shots off the mark. Rob Dillingham has Ayrton Saramago on him, pulls up from 3 and drills it off the screen. Saramago went under, and Dillingham made him pay for it. It's back to a 9-point Timberwolf lead as we have Saramago in the post. A tough shot over a nice contest from Karl Anthony Towns with the left as well. Impressive finish as we head into the last 2 minutes. How does this offense look when we have a game? It's still close here in the clutch. I'm very interested to see what kind of plays we go to here. Edwards, defended by McKnight. This has been a fun battle all night long. Trying to dribble him up. Shot clock winding down, and the layup is short. McKnight with another great defensive possession. Got to turn this into points here. Lonzo Ball with it, trying to go up top, but he forced it. There were way too many Minnesota jerseys in the area. Would have needed to be a perfect pass. Minnesota trying to set up some off-ball screens here, but Vancouver a decent job shutting them down. Dillingham from the mid-range. That one's no good. McKnight again bothering the shot defensively. Lonzo Ball trying to force it inside again to Jalen Duren. 2 straight turnovers. Trying to force the ball inside. Not sure what we're going for here. Let's let the plays come to us naturally. We've been shooting the ball well. Get lucky with a turnover there. But those 2 possessions, wasting them on forcing something that wasn't there on the inside. I'm not impressed. Saramago hasn't even been involved with either of those plays. Lonzo, that's the shot we come up with out of the timeout. That's pretty much going to be the end of the game. We wasted our possessions down the stretch in this game. Lonzo Ball was pretty good throughout this game, but oh my, these last 2 minutes, he pretty much wrapped up the game for the Timberwolves with his turnovers, and then that final shot was not what we wanted. I am proud of the way that we played, and we've got some pretty historical numbers here from our 2 rookies who combined for 58 points. 33 points is the most since 1960 for a rookie in his NBA debut, and Cameron McKnight with his 7 threes ties the rookie record in their NBA debut with former Vancouver Blizzard PJ Washington, actually. Not the name you'd guess would have the debut record for 3-point makes, but Anthony Edwards, I mean, went from, 23 points on 19 shots to 31. on 33 shots. Much better defended in the second half. That's all I've got here for this first episode of Season 2. We'll be back more with Vancouver basketball. I'll see you then.